Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to get... My darling, can I borrow your phone? Otherwise, the chat is going to scroll by without me being able to see it. Oh, got it. All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Hope you are all doing well. I actually remembered to start on time tonight. There we go. Get my chat set up over here. Sorry for any delay. There we go. All right. So, hey, Bobert, welcome. This evening we are having our, as always, we start with our tea. We're having Sleepy Time's Sinus Soother, which has chamomile, spearmint, lemongrass, and other soothing herbs. They add tulsi and stinging nettle. So, we're still having head stuff. You can kind of hear it. Maybe you can hear it. Maybe this is just what you think I sound like. Gives me a bit more of a rich voice when my nose is stuffed with boogers. Seems to be hanging on. It has that feeling of just kind of like, not really pressure, just like it feels like it should just pop and drain and we'll be done. But it's not draining. So we have the movie phone voice. You guys remember movie phone? Hello and welcome to movie phone. For movies pressed in your area, press 1. Please enter your zip code. You used to have to call to find out what time movies were. Ah, that's good. So, first of all, I hope you guys were able to watch the interview that we did with Sean the Modern Yeoman. It was a lot of fun. I've gotten to know Sean kind of through his channel, and then we had the opportunity to talk a few times before we actually did the interview. And then we talked, obviously, through the interview. And the more I talk to that guy, man, the more I like him. I think he's good people. But one of the added benefits of being on his channel is we had 90 or so people come on over to this channel. So if you're one of those people who has made your way over from his channel to this channel, you can like all the channels you want. There's no competition. But welcome. We appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoy the content. I've gotten to know some of you already. You've been commenting on some of the videos and going back through and watching some of the stuff we've already put up, so I appreciate that. I'm glad you're here. We have a good time, I think, both in the live streams and in our videos, in our chats. I do my best to respond quickly, so once again, thank you for being here. It just feels a little off-center. Is that better? Is that more off-center? Move over here, move over there. So, a couple of years ago, when we were moving from the house in the socioeconomically depressed neighborhood that we talked about the other day. Hello, Donna. Donna says it was good. Thank you. Glad you liked it. It was a lot of fun. I'll do more of them if anybody would want to talk to me. If you know anybody that wants to interview Jack Wagons, let me know. Hey, Mom. Hi, Leah. Welcome. So we were moving from the house that we talked about that's now our rental to the house that we just sold several years ago. And we had bought this trampoline off of Craigslist. And it was, I think, 8 feet by like 14 feet. It's called a Skywalker. I've never heard of them. This thing was incredible. Very, very thick legs, good solid metal, and the kids loved it. And we had so many neighborhood kids, church kids, all kinds of kids come jump on this thing. So we took the whole thing apart, we threw it on the trailer, and we went to the new house, which was about 19 minutes away from our old house. And somewhere along the line, a part fell off. And not a little part, like a substantial, I don't remember if it was one of the legs or one of the frame members, but some part of it, we lost it. And we're putting the whole thing together, and we realized we didn't have it. And of course, we were the ones that took it apart. So we know we have to have it somewhere. And we ended up jumping back in the car and driving the route back to the house. And sure enough, there it is on the side of the road. We find this piece of this trampoline. Huge relief. We take it back, we put it together, and we use it for 2 more years. Well, we actually moved that trampoline from the house we sold to the homestead. And when we took it apart, we didn't realize it, but where the metal slides into the frame had gotten all roached up and rusted. So we ended up recycling it when we got up here. And so we hadn't really thought about trampolines, and then we realized we cleaned out the barn. So there's all kinds of space for a trampoline. Rip says, hello everyone. Hello Rip, welcome. And so realizing I have all this space, maybe we should get a trampoline and put it in the barn, because it's warmer in the barn, it's dry in the barn, it won't get covered in snow. And so we went around on Craigslist and we found this 13-foot square one. And it's also a Skywalker, which I didn't know, but I loved the Skywalker. And we went and picked it up, we exchanged money, and they had already taken it apart, so there's just pieces. And they were very organized when they took it apart. It was not like a giant mess. They had the net in one place folded up, and they had the springs in a box and all the bolts in a box and that kind of thing. And so we put all the parts in the trailer. We drive home. It was late yesterday when we got it back, so this morning I went out there and I thought, well, I'm putting this trampoline together after I edited the video and put it up. And there's only 3 corners. So the part that holds the netting is missing a corner. I just could not believe that it was missing a corner. And the people seemed lovely, right? We didn't accuse them of anything. I just sent them a text and asked if they had maybe forgot it. Was it sitting in their yard? No, it was there. We saw it. We know we saw it. Okay, well, it's not here now. So, of course, the barn is clean. There's nowhere for it to be. We still looked through the barn, looked under the car, looked in the car, looked under the trampoline, looked over the trampoline, looked everywhere. No corner. Now, this place that we bought it from is roughly 32 minutes away. And, of course, there's divided highways and all those kind of things. So we thought, well, the only thing we could do is jump in the car and start driving. And I must admit, I was not happy. I was very discontent in my heart. Oh, thanks, Donna. Donna says, by the way, I have 2 things that are missing from the fermenting commit that I sent them. I'll be putting this stuff in the mail sometime in the near future. Just need the zip code. 23175 is the zip code for the P.O. Box. P.O. Box 1057, Urbana, Virginia. 23175. Yeah, I think I fixed it on our About page. Donna said the post office. I had the zip code wrong. I did have it wrong. We still got it anyways. Thank goodness for people. So most of the drive is divided highway back to where this place was. And I texted them and said we were coming back. Not to their property necessarily, but that we were going to retrace our entire step. And also, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button for me, that would be great. And they said great, they checked their backyard, they didn't have it. So we jump in the car and my lovely wife offers to come with me because I'm clearly disgruntled. I am not happy. Can't believe we wasted all this money. And hey Jeremy, we're just talking about how I bought a trampoline and the part was missing, and we're covering that. I haven't gotten to the poultry picture yet. I will get to that. That is the piece de resistance of what we're going to talk about this evening. So we jump in the car to go back to this place that's like 17 and a half, 18 miles, 32 minutes one way. And the whole time I'm thinking there's no chance we're going to find this corner. And the corner was, I don't know, like 2 feet. And there's snow on the ground still. And there's like ravines and stuff. And I thought if this thing did fly off the trailer, it bounced into the middle of nowhere. It's going to be in a snow drift. Like there's just no way. And we had driven about halfway there. And had a couple false positives, right? Saw stuff we thought was it, wasn't it? Maybe that was it, that wasn't it. And every now and then, somebody go, "Oh, is that it?" And well, no, it's a beer can or whatever. And right about the 17-minute mark, There that stupid elbow is sitting on the side of the road. We were on a divided highway, still headed that way, and we look over, and it's sitting on the side of the road. And I just could not believe that this stupid corner was actually there. And I thought, I don't know what I thought, but we turned around and we pulled. We even took one in the car with us because my middle child came with us to help us look, and she wasn't exactly sure what we were looking for, so I even put one in the car. And we pulled up and we're just like holding them next to each other, going, "Holy cow! This is it. This is the part." So we came back and we rolled Lucy forward a little bit. Had to take the crane off. Lucy's got a bad solenoid. And we put this thing together inside the barn, and I realized after putting it together that this thing is 13 feet square. My barn door is 12 feet square. So it's not going to fit to take it out. Even if I take the legs off and the netting part and the whole bit, it's not going to, I don't know. I might have to take the entire thing apart to get it out in a couple months, but the other thought I had is actually trying to take it in caddy corner, like out. That might work. It might not. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Spring is still a while away. So, on to the actual thumbnail. That thumbnail you saw, I hope you saw it. If not, go back and take a look at it. And it says poultry, and that was at Walmart. And my wife took that yesterday? Sunday. She took that picture when she was at the store, and she said, "There is no fresh chicken here, like unfrozen chicken whatsoever." I said, "Send me a picture." So she snapped that picture. I thought, "Oh my gosh, nothing. Not even. It's not even like expensive. It just isn't. There's none." And we've seen it get down to low before, but I don't think we've seen it where there was actually no. Yeah, she's saying no. Have not seen it where there was literally no chicken, like nothing. And of course, everything is getting more expensive, right? And chicken always has been the cheap meat, and it's just gone. I don't know if people are stashing it. I don't know if it's the supply chain. I don't know what it is. And so it made us very grateful that tomorrow is Butcher Day. It's a big day for us here. We plan on harvesting 14 birds. Thank you, Jeremy, for asking the question. We have 10 of the Delawares, and we have 4 of the Buff Orpington roosters. They're all roosters. That one that crowed in the video that I released today, I think we have ID'd him. He's very large. And he was the one that was being somewhat aggressive toward us while we were rooting around in the chicken tractor trying to get out the boys. So we're going to leave him. We like him being a little bit feisty and a little bit bigger. We're going to move the girls, because there's one tractor now that's all hens. We're going to move them over. Do you remember how many hens we have left? Off the top, is it 7? I think it's 7.
Yeah, we had 21.
21, yeah. So we have seven hens left of the Delawares, and one boy who is starting to crow. So once we get the girls laying eggs, we're going to start populating it again with some fertilized eggs. So we pulled them out this evening. We have the small chicken tractor. If you watch the earlier videos where we had the birds, when these birds were little babies, the little chicken tractor we put in the backyard, that's the one we have for them. Marilyn says, hello from West of Oklahoma City, not West Oklahoma City. Welcome, glad to have you. Hey, Brian. Brian says, hey, y'all, sorry I'm late, no phones at the table. That's a good rule, although I'm sitting at the table with my phone. Liberty says, no meat at all for me to distribute at our county's food bank, going on 2 weeks now. Normal volume is 100 pounds a week. Our meat supply chain is more fragile than we thought. Yeah, man. It was not scary necessarily, just it's bizarre, right? I mean, doesn't it almost feels like you're... Do you remember some of the pictures that have gotten out from North Korea and stuff, where like they faked the stuff and there was like one row of things and everything else was fake? That's kind of what this feels like. Or like old Soviet Union. You know, back in Soviet bloc in 80s when pictures come out and they sneak out on microfilm with little thing in car when they go underneath for spare areas to get to. Anyways, they had that same there's just nothing. There just isn't an option. And that is really, really interesting. So thankfully, we're harvesting our 14 chickens tomorrow. Now, 14 chickens isn't going to get us through any length of time, but this is the start of our security, of our food security, meat-wise, and we've never had that. It's the start of learning a new skill set. It's the beginning of so many things for us. As I mentioned in the video, we're doing it pretty bare bones. Colleen says, hi, y'all. Hey, Colleen. I did check the mail today. It was not there yet. I'm still looking. But we are still waiting for your package. It's going to be on one of these. So we have two families coming to help us, my buddy Carl and Clint, the other flannel guy. And Carl has done it before with his family, with some friends of ours. So he's going to be kind of our point person. But they actually haven't done the eviscerating part, the gutting part. I have watched one video on that. We're going to watch another. We're probably going to watch one or two like right before we start the process. But they're coming over for lunch, both families, and then we're going to spend the afternoon processing chickens and obviously filming it for you good people. And then we are going to have supper together, which won't be those chickens because you need to let them rest, I've been told, once they've been butchered, normally 12 to 24 hours in a cool environment. So our low temperatures are in the low upper 30s, I think, tomorrow night. So I have a couple of coolers we've cleaned out. I'm going to fill them with well water, which is like 53 degrees, and then leave them overnight in the coolers, and that should get us to where we're good. And then Wednesday we're going to seal them in some packages. So we're really excited to do this. We went and picked them out this evening and moved them into that medium-sized chicken tractor we have back there. And then that blue one that my buddy gave me with the two little frou-frou birds that are since deceased. We've got them, the Orps in that one, and then the Delawares in the other one. And tomorrow morning I'll finish setting up. I made my own killing cone. I had some galvanized metal laying around, so I just rotated it until it felt like it was the right size. I've been told the bigger cones are better because the birds don't tend to flop out of them. So this thing is massive. You could probably harvest like an emu in it or something, but it should work. We'll get the fire going. The pot worked well. We had plenty of hot water. And I have a couple countertops, excuse me, that we had used for school. We had built a schoolroom in our, 2 houses ago. And I kept the countertops. So I'm going to set those up out there, and then we're going to have kind of the different stations. And assuming it goes well, then we'll be starting the process all over again once the Delawares start coming up with eggs. We've thought about actually calling some suppliers and seeing if we can get some more birds shipped to us sooner. We've also kind of decided that the feed bill is going up. It's going up a lot this month. We were doing pretty well through December. But I went and got feed what was it, last week I think we got feed? Was it the week before? The 9th? Just keeping track of all this stuff. We got feed on the 9th. And so it is the 24th. So we're not even 2 weeks in. And I'm going to have to go get more feed. So there's just nothing for them to eat. So what we're thinking now, and I know we've talked a bit before about our permapasture ideas and some of the things, but I think, so if you guys remember, we have the front field that's clear, and then we have the area where the chickens are, and then we have the area where the pigs are behind that. And I'm thinking what we're going to do is take the back line of where the pigs are, go all the way over to the edge of our property and clear that whole section. It's probably an acre, and then specifically plant feed for the chickens and the pigs, and then rotate them. And I'm going to build, you guys I'm sure have seen Joe Salatin's method where he has all the different pens and like the line in the middle. and you can rotate things very easily through it. You have a central corral and plant. So the winter wheat and the spring peas, or is it the spring oats and the winter peas, whatever we planted, is still green on that front 2 acres. And I'm sure the chickens could eat it and keep our feed bill down. So what I'm hoping for is by next year to have those areas cleared out and then have the rotation set up. And I think I'm going to build another egg mobile for the meat birds so that we're not moving the chicken tractors around as much. And then have it to where we can move the egg mobiles in the different paddocks fairly easily. And that won't interfere with the 2 acres in the front that we want to put the cows on. So that's kind of our new tentative plan. And obviously overwintering animals is more expensive than doing it during spring, summer, and fall because you don't have the foliage. But there is stuff that we can plant that will be green enough that would sustain them if we could rotate them through. So I don't think we're going to do meat birds again necessarily in the dead of winter. But as you guys know, we weren't sure what was going to happen. And so we went ahead and got birds because we weren't sure. And sure enough, the shelves are bare. So we can go through 3 or 4 chickens, our family, in a week fairly easily. Normally, obviously, that's mixed in with pork and calf. But beef and pork and stuff is getting so expensive. So we're hoping that these chickens will last us for a few weeks. And then we're going to work on repopulating the flock so that we have more in the future. I'm glad we bought the Delawares instead of the Cornish cross because we can start repopulating them. The Cornish cross, you can't. You have to have the 2 that you cross them with. And if you don't eat them at 9 weeks, they die. I don't begrudge anybody that uses them because they get the fattest, the quickest, with the least amount of feed and all that good stuff. And that's fine. But if you can't remake it, then I'm not really that interested in it. Although we castrate all our pigs. So who knows? The girl's pretty sweet though, so we'll see. You might end up keeping her and breeding her out. I do know some people that has boy pigs that would be happy to render a service. But that's the kind of the gist of what we got going on. We are feeling much better. Thank you all for your prayers and kind words. Like I said, we still have a bit of a sinus thing going on, but that's okay. So we've got the trampoline in the barn. Celtic Roots, welcome. Greetings from New Hampshire, the frozen north. It's funny, the trampoline in the barn takes up a whole lot of room, but our kids don't do a whole lot of screen time, whether it's video games or watching TV or whatever. We just don't do much of it. But you can't, within reason, you can't withhold, let's put it that way. You can't withhold that type of thing from them without offering alternatives and positive alternatives. And so if you don't set up things for them to do, now that being said, you don't have to entertain your children every minute of every day. That's not what I'm saying. It is actually very good for children to be bored. My middle daughter, she knits, she crochets, she has a sewing machine. She has learned these things because she's been bored enough to go play with a sewing machine or bored enough to learn how to crochet and those kind of things. My eldest is huge into writing and creating and drawing, and she does those things because she was bored enough to do them. And my youngest boy, he likes to fold the paper. He is very good at origami because he's been bored enough that folding paper was something enjoyable compared to sitting and staring at the wall. So they have these different hobbies that they have developed. But we also try and provide physical activity for them to do. And an outlet for them, right? If you don't want them under your feet, you have to provide something for them. So even if, hey, Nancy, she says, good evening, I just finished up supper and now I have to play catch up. Well, catch up. It'll be here for all of time, so you can come back and watch it whenever you like. I try and time these to where people are doing dishes because I have learned by observing the patterns of my wife that when she washes dishes or cleans the kitchen or doing things like that, she likes to listen to things. So you guys actually don't have to watch my giant mug on this thing. You can come just listen and hopefully enjoy the content. Hey, Bill, welcome. We are having Sinus Soother tea again this evening because we still have some sinus issues. Jeremy says, oh no, I'm sorry. Colleen says, are you making the kids watch America's Funniest Home Videos at least a little bit to know what not to do on the trampoline? No, because if you don't tell them it's a rule, they can't break it. So let me back up a little bit and check some of these chats before we get too far along. Jeremy said he was going to ask to come if he could come help and learn, but he has the Omicron. Before you ask, I'm doing fine. Just a little cough, and my nasal passages are burning a little. Well, welcome to the Omicron Club. Did you guys see that Star Trek short? It's on YouTube somewhere, where every time they said Omicron in Star Trek, like through the whole canon, it's stupid. I don't know if you'd like it. I thought it was great. Jeremy said I had the worst type in May. This is much better. Well, good. Liberty Not Licensed says it shakes me a little bit when all the freezers at our local pantries are empty. Last time I saw this was about a year ago when they were diverting Tampa St. Pete. I'm told this isn't the case now. Yikes. That's sketchy, man. Jeremy said you should try just cutting the head off of one and seeing if the body really does run around. No. We're not doing that. We are not going to be cavalier with killing the animals. I did think about making like a joke intro, and I had planned something like that, and I will tell you about it because I'm not actually going to do it because I think it would, I don't know if it would come off correctly. We do take this very seriously with the taking of a life of the animal, but I had thought to like set the GoPro up like through the chicken's eyes, and then like you see the hand reach in and pull it out, but you don't see, like, you never actually see the chicken, and like going, you see the sky, and then you see like the butcher, stump, and then I was gonna have it like face up, and you see like the axe like come up and come down, and then it's my face, and I pull up like a carrot and start eating or something. But I didn't think people would like stick with it long enough to realize it was a joke before they started like unliking and hating and things. So I am in the fire department. We do have a bit of a dark sense of humor, so you'll forgive me if sometimes that comes across. It is not meant to be terribly irreverent. We are taking it very seriously, what we're doing tomorrow. Oh no, my chat got all sideways. Stop. Brian said, you ain't gonna believe this, but today at my local Walmart, I saw 5-pound tubes of hamburger meat for $33. Man, it reminds me of '08, man. You remember, it was the same thing, gas, but it was gas prices then. Gas prices got to like $5 a gallon, so everything got more expensive. Because gas moves the world. And of course, we're gonna shut down pipelines and do all kinds of stupid things, but Leah says, that's insane, but totally believable. I'm in Texas, cattle country, and have never seen beef prices so high. Isn't it something? Brian says, I'm glad I got rabbits when I did. Rabbits are a great source of quick meat. Good protein, not hard to raise. I'm not a huge fan of the texture. Might be the rabbits that I had. But it's something that we're thinking about for the spring. Not really because it's something we want to do, but something we might need to do. Jeremy said that the toolboxes in the garage come with the property. The tall wheelie ones did not. Those are mine. I normally use dressers. I find old dressers for cheap or free and put them in there, and I use those as toolboxes. They're not as cool because the front isn't clear, so it's kind of hard to see. So what I end up doing is labeling like the front of them, so like pneumatic tools and stuff like that. There were a couple very wide, large toolboxes that were in there. They're more like drawers. I don't know if they're boxes, but he had 4 very large roll-out metal drawers that did come with it. So, Liberty says, we are suffering so much from allowing ourselves to focus on ourselves. The modern ecclesiastical experience in America is by no means exempt either. Man, you got that right. So that's the thing, right? I mean, we've been spoiled here for a long time, and we have had it better than we possibly know. And I think, forgive me if I wade into society a little bit, but I think that's part of the problem with why we have so many different people trying to break themselves up into so many tiny little identities and then crying out about um, bigotry or racism, or I mean we're inventing new names for things and stuff, and uh, everybody has the experience they have, right? I don't know. I grew up in the same house with my brothers and sisters, and we had um, different experiences, right? Same parents, same upbringing, same everything, and it's different. So you can microcosm every single person in the world all the way down to this tiny little box, and then scream foul that nobody knows, what your little experience is like. And we call it the uniqueness fallacy in therapy circles. Um, I've been a part of some of our peer support and things like that, and so that's where a lot of this is coming from. And instead of looking for the things that are common to us, we look for the things that keep us separate. And I understand that everybody wants to be unique, right? I mean, average is a dirty word. Nobody wants to be average. When what average means is that that's the way that most people are. So it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, it's just average. And if everyone is above average, well, guess what average is? It's still average. it's it's still average. If everyone's an idiot, the average person's an idiot. If everyone's a genius, the average person's a genius, but it's still average. So I think part of our problem is because we have not had some massive struggle, I think, as a society. We tried the war on terror to make it, something to unite, but it didn't really take. But I mean, previous generations have had, like the Great Depression, like it affected everyone. They had this massive struggle. There wasn't time to focus on all the little things. And so, there was World War II. There was the Cold War. There were all these different massive things going on where people were either starving to death or dying in front lines or whatever. We have, for the most part, had access to more food at cheaper rates. And I mean, there's government social net programs for a lot of things. And we have not seen, like with '08 and even with COVID, when they shut everything down, we didn't see like the soup kitchen lines that were indicative of the 20s and the 30s, the Depression era. I guess it was early 30s. 20s was the roaring 20s. Because it's different, right? You get a card mailed to you now, so you don't go stand in line at a soup kitchen. You go to the store with your card. So I think we have, in many ways, manufactured a lot of problems in our country because we have not had to have this massive struggle just to survive, I guess is what I'm saying. We're not struggling to survive as people did for thousands of years. So and this doesn't mean that bigotry and racism and those kind of things don't exist. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying we have a hard time focusing on the good because we keep wanting to focus on the negative. And negative sells, right? I mean, that's why the news is the way it is, because that's what people pay attention to. That's what they want to see. They want to see the catastrophe. They want to see the disaster. We were talking the other night. One of Shaun the Modern Yeoman's most memorable scenes was where he shocked himself and then tripped over his electric fence, because it was something that went wrong, right? That's what you remember. He's done, I don't know, 20 videos since then where things went right, and there's that moment is seared in your brain because it's just the way we're wired. So I think we are coming up. Yeah, we I think we might be coming up on real struggles, like to eat struggles. And I just wonder what's going to happen. Because we as a society are not a hardy bunch. There are hardier people than others. There's always outliers. But I think generationally speaking, I don't know, man. I don't know. So what do? I think we do what we're doing. We find people, we find like-minded people, and we do our best to be anti-fragile, to, as somebody mentioned the other day, which I never mentioned in the interview, and I should have mentioned it, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's such a homesteady reference, and I blew it. I blew it. I did not say it, so I'm saying it now. We don't put all our eggs in one basket. We build community together. We get to know the people around us, and we put emphasis, right, Nancy says maybe we'll start to value friends and family more than other things. We start to put emphasis on the relationships, the things that matter. And there are those of us, you guys included, who are breaking away. And we were joking tonight, right, as we are crawling around in chicken poop in the cold, grabbing screaming roosters, throwing them into a container to transport them to the holding pen tonight because it was easier to catch them in the evening time. And we're cold, we're dirty, my knees are still trashed. I didn't get a chance to shower before I talked to you all, so you'll forgive me if you can smell the chicken through the phone. And I jokingly said to her, all this is better than, $1.50 a pound for chicken at the store. This takes forever. This takes so much work to raise food. So much work. But you know what? I know it's there. She went to the store, the big store in the world, that has always had food, and there was no food, guys. No food. There's other food, obviously, but that food is trash. I mean, there's always preservative foods, but that stuff is not good for you. So tomorrow, we are going to provide our own chicken for the very first time. A culmination of all kinds of years of dreaming and planning. Something that would have been illegal 6 months ago at the previous place I lived because you couldn't raise birds for meat. You cannot raise food in your backyard. Hideous. So we look to community, and we don't fear. And if we are the people who are able to provide food for our neighbors as best we can because we are the ones that are preparing, great. Because that is going to be a ministry in and of itself that is going to be needed. We don't just focus on our own self. My brother and I, many of you know my brother's David the Good, have talked several times about how if society did collapse, that we are going to, how would the family split up? Who would, which family would go where, and how would we provide for them and make food? And we have thought about these things, and hopefully, God willing, it never happens. And the supply chains pick back up, and chicken gets back down to, $1 a pound or whatever it was. Gas prices go back to good, and everything gets wonderful. But thermodynamics says everything's degrading, so I don't know that that's going to happen. Let's scroll back through a couple of the chats real quick before I keep moving. Jeremy says, when my mom was a child, her grandmother would butcher chickens. She would chop the heads off, toss the bodies under a 5-gallon bucket, then make my mom sit on top of the buckets while they flopped. Mom is still emotionally damaged. Yeah, that's kind of gross. We're not doing that. Our kids are, they are how do I say this? We are providing the opportunity for them to be a part of tomorrow. We are not forcing it. This is not necessarily their dream. This is our dream. So now they've said they're going to come participate, and that's their choice. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. Like I said, we've never done it before, so we have a lot to learn. I think it's going to be a good experience. I think it's different to do it as a family than it would be, the thought of doing it by yourself. And we're going to have other families there, so they're going to have friends there. So we'll see. We'll see. Liberty License says, it's difficult to feel sorry for yourself when you're serving others. There's one who enjoys division, but he's not love. Amen to that. A good piece of redeeming the current affliction will hopefully be an increased measure of prevalence of empathy. Colleen says, sliding down Maslow's hierarchy of needs a bit definitely gives an attitude adjustment. Boy, howdy. And if memory serves, oh look, we got a bot. Took you long enough, man. Remove, boop. And of course, it's a Russian bot. If memory serves, Colleen, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is something like water, shelter, food, and then it starts getting into, creature comfort type things. But, yep. Jeremy says, I don't remember the exact quote, but it's something like, easy times make weak men make hard times make strong men make easy times. Yeah, I've heard it, good men make good times make soft men make hard times make good men. Repeat. We'll see. Donna says at Liberty Not License, while you were eating the hamburger, did you bite into a piece of gold? At that price, I think there was some kind of nice price made into it. This is a Gold Star burger. Gold Star. Not because of how it tastes, because it's literally, at some point, it's going to be cheaper to buy gold than it is beef. Although, that being said, the Bible does say, what is it, something like a year's wages for a loaf of bread at some point? Or, I mean, it has happened in the past, so it doesn't matter how much money you have if there's nothing to buy with. Liberty Not Licensed says, an attitude of gratitude is always appropriate, I found. Erring on the side of mercy and grace have served me well when I've been able to choose wisely. Yep. Liberty, he says, the burger tasted a bit bland, a bit of fake cheese, tragically, but I was hungry, so it didn't last long. Donna says, I only wish I could have chicken in my neighborhood. However, I can't, so I'm resorting to quail. Yeah, we've done quail before. So, Marilyn says, nothing in the store tastes good anymore. What is going on with our food? Well, it's not really food anymore, is it? I mean, they have engineered it down to the nth degree that it's just not. It's bad. Donna says, I can, but I am allergic to them. Oh, man, Donna's allergic to rabbits. When I handle them, I break out an extremely bad rash. I did tell a friend today that I might still get some and just wear long sleeves and long sleeve shirts. I wonder if, Donna, there's like a hypoallergenic type. Because and this is dog breeds and we're not going to eat dogs, but like Yorkies or something, they have like hair, or poodles have hair, not fur, so it's different. There's not the dander and things like that. I don't know if it works that way with rabbits. Liberty Not Licensed says, Marilyn, I'm figuring that God has given us these tastes that we would eat healthy things and not eat unhealthy ones, and so these bad tasting foodstuffs are likely not very healthy either. And Jeremy says, a piece of bread will buy a bag of gold. That's right. It's funny with food, right? So food is like anything else that God gave us. It has a purpose. He's given us taste buds. And yes, sometimes the things that are good for you don't taste the best. But we have perverted food and the desire for food into something that is bad. I mean, you can take the same thing with alcohol. If it weren't for the fermentation process, many more people would have died from waterborne illness, but they were able to brew, and so they were able to be safe. So there's a benefit to it, but we abuse things, and we take things out of the plan. And of course, we are living under the curse, so who knows what broccoli was supposed to taste like. I actually like broccoli. It's one of my favorites. But Jeremy says, instead of deleting the Russian bots, I think I should read them like Yuri. Yeah, Liberty Not Licensed says, we have perverted food and ourselves. Yep. Brian says, I wear long sleeves when dealing with rabbits anyways. Them mama claws hurt. They's mean. Mean old rabbits. Big teeth. That's Monty Python for the win this evening. Well, my friends, I know we normally go an hour, and unless we have a whole bunch of questions all of a sudden, that is kind of the end of what I have written down in my super comprehensive notes. Have I ever shown you my notes? This is my comprehensive notes. It's like 4 sentences of chicken scratching. I always want to make sure, I just need a sentence to kind of remind me of what I want to talk about. But I'll have to post a picture of that trampoline in the barn. It is a monster in there. It takes up so much space. It's ridiculous. Jeremy says, I missed the chat with Sean last night. How did it go? I think it went great. Like I think I mentioned it at the beginning, but I'll mention it again. If you're from Sean's channel, again, welcome. We're glad you're here. We have added something like 92 subscribers since last night when that came out. Exactly, Liberty says, don't be fooled. It's a killer. Get the holy hand grenade. You shall count to 3, not 4, and 5 is right out. Excuse me. Yeah, I think the interview with Sean went really well. I think it was well received on his channel. There are a lot of very nice comments underneath it, and like I said, we've had something like 90 people come on over and join us, and we're glad that they're here. There have been a lot of comments under some of my older videos from the new viewers, and we've been talking with them, and I've been getting to know them. So we're excited about folding them into the flannel fam, as it were. And yeah, so I haven't asked him about how many hours and stuff like that, watched all the insider YouTube content creator nonsense that goes into this stuff that I probably pay way too much attention to. I gotta delete that app off my phone, I'm telling you. But so it's like watching, I don't know what it is, like a ticker tape, watching the subscribers go up today. It was a lot of fun. It was very encouraging. To see it grow and to know that what you're doing is appreciated. So, and I know you guys appreciate it. I'm not saying you don't. It's just encouraging to see new people that enjoy what you're doing, I guess. Makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. So, yeah, Donna says, I'm getting into a food swap. It's a group of people to help each other out. I lost it. For meat and vegetables, they also swap meat and veggies for others. Very cool. Jeremy says, how close are you to getting monetized? And the hours going up. The hours are going up. Actually, since the 90 or so have joined us in the past couple of days, my hours every 28 days went up by something like 60 hours. And it's just today. The views went up by like 300 or 400. So it's cool. I think we're at a total of 2,600 hours watched. And we are, we need to hit 4,000 hours by May. I think it was May. So we've got February, March, April, May. I think we'll do it. We're about 1,400 shy. But we're averaging right around 400 hours a month. So I think we're going to get it. But I think that's going to uptick too as we get out of winter and we get into, actual like gardening season and whatnot. The YouTube universe is not really, people aren't searching for those type of videos right now. It's just not a good time for homesteading and gardening channels. So I'm aware of that. So we're going to keep on keeping on and keep on putting out the content. I'm still aiming to do 2 videos in the live stream every week. So we're still doing that. Nancy says, good luck with the chickens. Keep the knife sharp and count your fingers when you finish. Yes, we are. Hey, speaker of the devil, and he shot up here. Sean is here. I was just, we were just talking about how the interview went yesterday and how like 90 people have joined us from your Yosted, man. It was good. So we do have like 4 or 5 different knives that we are that I have got sharp, and I've gotten a sharpener out there in the barn already that is ready to keep sharp. So yeah, we're dispatch as quickly as possible. Sean, I wanted to ask you, in relation to your regular hours watched after 24 hours, did that one do more hours than your standard video? I'm just curious because I'm a nerd when it comes to the numbers, and I like all those numbers. But Donna says bartering is already taking place in her town. Holy cow. That is crazy. Liberty License says, I'm very glad you're all doing well, my brother. May he only continue to bless you and your family. Good night, Brian, and all. Keep your spirits up. This too shall pass. That it will. That it will. This too shall pass. As Ecclesiastes says, there's a season for everything, right? And we might have gone through a season of plenty, and maybe we're going through a season of want. But I think a lot of things that we're going to run out of, we didn't need in the first place. Food, we need. We need food. So start trying to be anti-fragile with your food. Ricky says we should send Russia 10,000 surplus body bags to their Washington, D.C. embassy and another to United Nations headquarters with Putin gift tag. Okay. Do they have a lot of bodies? Do they need them? So, Modern Yeoman says, if it pops up on the other one, because it takes just a second, it's doing very solidly. It's 5 of 10, about 1,700 right now. Pretty sure I'll hit 2,000 soon. Cool. How many hours, though? That's the part that I'm always... I mean, I like the view part, too. But it's interesting, because I'm getting a little nerdy into the YouTube stuff right now. If I release, like, a 3-minute video, people tend to watch, like, 60 or 70%. But because it's only 3 minutes long and you watch 60 or 70% of it, that means you watch like a minute and a half. So even if I get the normal amount of views, but people only watch a minute and a half, the hours aren't that good. If I release a 15-minute video, people might watch 50% roughly. But it's 50% of the 12 or 15 minutes. Yeah, wow. See, he says right now it's at 450 hours watched. That's my month. That's my month. So if you release a 12-minute video and it's 50% watched, that's 6 minutes watched. And the views are about the same, but the hours go way up. So, and it almost doesn't matter how long it is. The percentage is almost always the same at about 50% to 60% watched. So if I release a 30-minute video, it drops a little more. And I've done a couple 40-minute videos, not really on purpose. It's just kind of the way they ended up. But there's kind of a sweet spot right at like the 12 to 15 minute mark, because if you go too much further, people start to drop off. So, but sometimes it takes a while to get the thought out and to get the video done. That's why I started filming in time lapse, actually, because I can condense a whole bunch of stuff that we're doing down into like one tangible bite, without feeling like I'm just wasting your time. Because we try really hard not to put fluff in there and to have it be content and have it tell a story about what we're doing or something, a finished project. I don't try just to pad it for the sake of padding it. That's why sometimes they're 6 minutes long and sometimes they're 17 minutes long, because I feel like it's the important stuff. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's not important at all. Who knows? So we got to get up early tomorrow. The hoses have thawed, so tomorrow morning I have to move hoses. We have to set the tables out. We have to set out the countertops that we're doing. I have to clean out the killing cone, clean out a couple 5-gallon buckets, clean out the coolers that we're going to store the chickens in so they can rest, and start building the fire. And I think that's about it. Then we just wait for our friends to get here, and we'll butcher some chickens. And big box stores can be darned. We'll have our own homestead food for the first time ever. I really appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate your support, your response to the video. The interview we did was amazing. The fact that you hang out with me once a night or once a week in the evening and we chat is very encouraging. It's a lot of fun to take the camera around with me and do this stuff, knowing that you guys are going to see it. And I always am. I release a video and it's bad. I'm like a junkie. I'm waiting for you guys to say stuff so I can respond to it. I probably should like release a video and put the phone away for like 48 hours and then come back and spend like break it up. But it's a lot of fun getting to know you guys, learning from you. Jeremy says the pigs doing good work in the woods, rooting and breaking up the ground. They really are. Yep, I think I actually gave them too much space for them to take it out kind of the way I had envisioned. But the area between where the chickens are, there's that walkway back there, and where the pig wire is, they love that area. I don't know if it's because they can see the chickens or what, but that's where we put their water, and they are going to town on that side. So it won't take long to get that part cleared out. Jeremy says, I love how you respond to our comments so quickly. I try. I do have the notification up, so when it pops up, I do my best to respond as quickly as possible. Oh, there's another bot. Should I read it in Russian? It doesn't. See, that one's Ray's Harding. That's not even Russian. I was going to do it in Yuri, but didn't even do it. So I was going to talk about how we were talking about doing a shallow well, but I think we might save that for next week. I've done some research on digging our own well. I think we're going to do it, but we'll talk about that next week. We'll save the topic for next week. Nancy says, are you going to compost all the chicken leftovers? I've heard feathers add to your compost is good for the garden. I don't know, honestly. I had planned on saving them. I wasn't sure for what. So I don't know. I've never thought about composting the feathers. I will look into that. No. I'm taking notes. Hold on. Okay. So I don't forget. Sometimes I have the attention span of a squirrel. What we did think about doing, actually, though, is at the end, taking all the guts and stuff that we don't want, because we're going to save them in 5-gallon buckets, and we're going to put it in the cauldron and cook a soup out of it, and then we're going to give it to the pigs as slop. So they love chicken. They will eat the nonsense out of some chicken. Leah says, I always start to worry when the folks I watch, if y'all miss a regular, quote unquote, posted day. I really think y'all as friends. Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. Like I talked about in one of the videos, I did not realize what social media this would be. So Jeremy says, what would the purpose be of a shallow well? So, okay, we'll talk a little bit. One, I can drill it myself if I'm understanding the YouTube videos I'm watching correctly. There's a special type of post hole digger, auger, I guess, that has it's got a couple of blades that are almost like shovels. So when you spin it, it fills up the container and you can lift it out. So I might be able to drill the shallow well myself. Colleen says, gotta say goodnight, put the kiddo back in bed. Good night, kiddo. Good night, Colleen. And I wouldn't have to pay someone to come out and do it. There's a lot of benefits and drawbacks to shallow wells. The main benefit, though, is I can do it myself, I think, for fairly inexpensive. And RGV says, this is a good place to be, and I'm very thankful for you sharing your life, family, and farm. Thank you. You're welcome. So if it's something I can do myself and much cheaper, because I started pricing out how much to get a well done, because we want one out in the front. I guess I should have said that. Up near the animals and near the garden, we want to have a well. And a deep well could be upwards of $7,000. So a shallow well is one that you can do that's 20 or 30 feet deep, depending on your water table. And then there's a ways you can put screens in it. And what I'd really like to do is once I put that in, I would like to put up a small solar system, build a shed around it, put a small solar system that could run a small pump and like a 110 outlet, just one, have a little battery bank and things like that. Brian, that is another option. He says, what about those well pipe things where you just bang them into the ground with a big hammer? But I think the auger excuse me, thing I was looking at was not terrible. There is a Russian one. There, Vorodot-ong. Why is he spamming on my thing? He's no good. We remove. Goodbye. I can do it myself with the spinner. I'm not sure what other equipment I would need with the big hammer. I would need a bigger hammer. How many pipes I would have to get. So you can drill it, then you can put the PVC down in there, you can put the screens in there, and then you can basically put a sump pump in it. And so one of the drawbacks with a shallow well is depending on how deep below your initial aquifer you get it, you can actually drain it down to below where your pump is. So I don't know how many 55-gallon drums I can fill up before it pulls it down. So we should dig a well Abraham style. The problem with those is they are susceptible to disease and things falling in there. So Brian says, I'm ready for your well video. I would like the education. It's something I'm looking at doing sometime in the spring when the ground is not quite as gross. So Leah says, wells have tripled in cost year. Our friend who priced one out before last year was quoted 3 times as much for last summer by the same company. Yeah, it's so, and part of the thing is being self-sufficient and doing it ourselves. So if I can figure it out, I was looking at like deep well hand pumps for our back pump, and they're stupid expensive, $1,200-$1,500. And I thought, well, if I can buy the auger bit and all the pipes that you need for, $150-$200, and then, you build the PVC and the screen and all things, I think I can get away with doing this thing for like $500. So now that's not including the solar, but instead of running a power to it, I would have it on just solar, and like I said, just a 110. Nancy says, you and Sean were talking about side jobs and homesteading. My father-in-law used to have 80 acres and work with a well digger when he worked off the farm. He was good at water witching. Ooh, cool. So you want to come to Virginia? Oh, and somebody asked that. I'm sorry. I don't remember where it was. I think it was it Mallory? Somebody asked what state we were in because of all the snow. We are in Virginia. We're in coastal Virginia. Yeah, you can dig test holes and stuff like that, but I really think with all the pipes and everything else, I can do it for less than 500. And then I want to have just like one outlet out there that I can plug into, so I can run like one tool if I'm building out there. So, hey, Dave. He says our chickens will be ready to butcher soon. Right on. Well, so my theme for the video tomorrow, if you will, is going to be, it's not a how-to, even though we're going to show the how-to part that we're doing. It's more of what is it like to butcher chickens for the first time. It's more of the experience. So, oh, Nancy, I'm sorry. She says, sorry, he passed away 21 years ago and lived in Nebraska. Oh, well. There's probably somebody around here that's good at it, but it'd be a shame. So, yeah, we're going to focus more on the experience of what it's like for the first time to do it. And Machete Massacre. And what kind of the kids' takeaway is and things like that. So, Sean says, sorry to jump in and jump out so soon, but I got to hop. Can't wait to see the butcher video. God bless. God bless, Sean. Thank you, bud. That's okay. We were winding it down anyways. I wasn't going to talk about the well thing, but then I talked about the well thing. So, shallow well. We're going to give it a shot. But not for a couple months. I got a lot to do before then. I would like to... Jeremy says, do you have any flannel butcher's aprons? I don't have any butcher's aprons. I was just going to make like a garbage bag over my head. Excuse me. But anyways, tomorrow's a big day, so I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. We're getting up early to get things started, and I am filming. Oh, Leah says wells are a deep subject. What are you talking about? I'm gonna try and film over 2 days because Wednesday we're going to do the bag seal thing. So I don't think I'm gonna make that a separate video because they're heat shrink bags that we've bought. We're gonna try and use them. Sean tried them. He said he didn't really like them, but I'd already bought them when he said he didn't like them. We're thinking about eventually getting maybe one of those vacuum sealer food deal things, but for now we're gonna try these bags, see how they work. But I can't do that until Wednesday, so we'll get it finished up on Wednesday, and then the video probably will be out Thursday because I actually go back to my real job on Thursday, which is unfortunate. But my quarantine part is over, so he's my brother says Sam from Scrubland Farm uses those. The bags or the what you call it. So Brian says I watched a Joel Salatin video, and when he put them in the cone, he just barely slit the side of the neck and let them bleed out while they were still living. He claims that's better. I don't know. Yeah, the bags. Okay, cool. See how it goes. Hey, Ricky, thanks for liking. Yeah, it's 23 likes. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I have kind of a long, very sharp knife. I also have a K-bar, which has a lot of weight to it, and it's very, very sharp. I carved a turkey with it one year for our family, and I was thinking actually that, I mean, one swift thwack and it would be over. So that was the route I was going to go before I start getting surgical with it, because I'm guaranteed pretty much not to mess that up. But like I said, my buddy Carl has helped with this process before, so I'm going to kind of follow his lead and see how it goes. Nancy says Grandma used to hatchet. Yep. Yeah, I've got a hatchet. I've got machetes. I've got sharp knives. I hate to say I'm an experiment, but we'll figure it out. My brother says that he's working on a multi-day biochar burning video. Cool. And he says I've always beheaded them with a machete. Yeah, I mean, I know you've seen my K-bar. It's like, it's long and heavy. So I think it will work to remove head from chicken. So I'm just afraid of like trying to do the whole nick thing. Like if you don't go deep enough, then you're just hurting the bird. I don't want to do that. Not wanting to do that. So on the note of beheading animals, I am going to call it a night. That's interesting. My brother says, I've also swung them by the legs into a tree, smacking their heads to stun them, and then cut it off. Well, I've got the cone, so I'm going to just slip them down there and see what happens. We'll figure it out. But sometimes you point the heads off. We'll let the cat do it. I might just put the cat into the cage and let... No, I'm just kidding. See how brave the cats are. All right, y'all. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Thanks for keeping me company this evening. I look forward to tomorrow, and I look forward to talking to you about how it goes and seeing what y'all's reaction is to that video. So, good night, everybody. Be well, be safe, grow as you grow, all that good stuff.